You open your pantry and realize you've been wasting money on food that goes bad before you can even use it. Month after month, tossing out expired rice, spoiled flour, and rancid oil. But what if I told you there are foods you can stockpile on today that will still be just as nutritious and edible 20, 30, or even 50 years from now? Foods that don't need refrigeration, don't need preservatives, and never need to be thrown out. I'm Zach, and I've been prepping since 2012. Back then, I made every mistake you can imagine. I stockpiled brown rice only to find it smelled like crayon 6 months later. I stored honey in the garage where the plastic container leached chemicals into it. I thought I was building food security, but I was actually building a collection of future trash. Today, I'm walking you through 13 foods that truly never expire when stored properly. These aren't just emergency supplies. They're the foundation of a smart, cost-effective pantry that works for your family whether times are good or bad. Let's get into it. Number 1. White rice. If I could only stockpile one food for the long term, white rice would be it. Not brown rice, not wild rice, white rice. Here's why. Brown rice contains natural oils in the bran layer, and oil is the enemy of shelf life. Those oils oxidize, turn rancid, and give your rice that weird, stale smell after just 6 months. White rice has been milled to remove all that. No oils means no environment for bacteria, no mold, no degradation. When stored in oxygen-free containers below 40 degrees, white rice maintains its nutritional content and flavor for 30 years. Even at room temperature in a sealed container with oxygen absorbers, it can last a decade or more. The mistake people make is storing rice in the original bag or a container that lets moisture in. Rice absorbs odors like a sponge. Store it near onions or garlic, and your rice will taste like onions and garlic. Keep it in a damp basement, and you're inviting bugs and mold. Here's what works. Transfer your rice into food-grade buckets with Gamma-Seal lids or into Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. Keep it in a cool, dry place away from strong-smelling foods. I store mine in 5-gallon buckets in a closet, and it's been perfect for years. During a crisis, white rice becomes porridge when water is limited, regular rice when you need energy, and when combined with beans, it creates a complete protein meal without meat. That's versatility you can't beat.
Number 2. Dry beans. If white rice is your carbohydrate foundation, dry beans are your protein foundation. Lentils, black beans, pinto beans, kidney beans, they all last indefinitely when stored correctly. Beans don't rot, don't go rancid, and barely decompose over time because of their extremely low moisture content and lack of natural oils. The only real change is they get harder as they age. Beans from 10 years ago might take an hour longer to cook than fresh ones, but they retain the same nutritional value. The most common storage mistake is keeping beans in paper bags on a damp floor or near humidity. Once moisture gets in, beans can sprout or develop mold, and even a small patch of mold ruins the entire batch. Dry beans need sealed containers, low humidity, and protection from light. I use the same food-grade buckets I use for rice, and I keep them separated so odors don't transfer. During hard times, a pot of beans cooked with just water and salt provides complete nutrition. Protein, fiber, minerals, all the things your body needs. Combined with rice or pasta, beans become the cheapest, cleanest, longest-lasting protein source you can have. I learned this back in 2014 when I was living paycheck to paycheck. A 20-pound bag of pinto beans and a 50-pound bag of rice kept my family fed for months. That's the kind of security that lets you sleep at night. Number 3. Pure honey. Honey is the only food archaeologists have found in ancient tombs that was still perfectly edible after 3,000 years. That's not folklore, that's science. Honey doesn't spoil because it contains almost no free water. The water that is in honey is locked up by sugar, so bacteria can't use it to survive. Add in honey's low pH and acidic environment, and you've got a substance where no microorganism can exist. But this only applies to pure honey. Honey diluted with corn syrup or water can ferment and develop strange smells over time. The other thing people worry about is crystallization. Crystallized honey is not spoiled honey. It's just sugar doing what sugar does. Warm it gently in a pot of hot water and it returns to liquid form. The one thing that can ruin honey is water getting inside the jar. Even a few drops can activate natural enzymes and cause fermentation. Store your honey in a sealed jar at room temperature away from moisture. That's it. No refrigeration, no special equipment. In a crisis, honey does more than sweeten your tea. It can disinfect minor wounds, preserve fruits, provide instant energy for someone who's exhausted, and even be used as currency if things get really bad. I keep several jars in rotation for cooking and baking, and I have backup jars sealed and stored for emergencies. Now, before we go further, I want to share something with you. I know how overwhelming food storage can feel when you're just starting out. You see these lists of foods that last forever, and you think, okay, great, but where do I even begin? That's exactly why I put together a free guide that walks you through building a 90-day food supply for just $50. No bulk buying clubs, no fancy equipment, just a simple plan you can start today. This free guide reveals how to turn $50 into a 90-day food supply for when life gets unpredictable. You'll get the exact shopping list that feeds your family for 90+ days with specific brands and prices included. 37 essential preparedness items most people never think to stockpile, and number 23 will surprise you. The simple storage trick that works in any home or apartment, even if you're tight on space. Emergency meals you can make with zero cooking fuel or electricity required. The gas station snack that can be used for bartering. A step-by-step guide for scaling up from 1 week to 3 months with confidence. Storage strategies to keep your supplies organized and fresh for years. And the one oil that stays shelf-stable and safe long-term. It's completely free. The link is in the description below and pinned in the comments. Go grab it now and let's make sure your family has the food security and peace of mind you deserve. All right, let's keep going.
Number 4. Pure salt. Salt is nearly immortal. It's a mineral, sodium chloride, with no protein, no fat, no sugar, and no moisture. There's nothing in salt for bacteria to feed on, which means it can't spoil, mold, or rot. Salt has been used for thousands of years to preserve other foods by pulling moisture out and inhibiting bacterial growth. That same property makes salt itself impossible to destroy through time. But not all salt is created equal for long-term storage. Iodized salt can change color, absorb odors, and develop strange flavors over time because the added iodine and anti-caking agents degrade. For true indefinite storage, stick with pure salt. Sea salt, kosher salt, pink Himalayan salt, these contain no additives and will last as long as you do. The mistake people make is trying to use oxygen absorbers or vacuum sealing with salt. Salt doesn't need protection from oxygen. In fact, vacuum sealing can trap moisture, causing the salt to clump into a solid brick. It's not dangerous, but it's annoying to deal with. All salt needs is a dry place, a sealed container, and protection from direct sunlight. During emergencies, salt does more than season food. It preserves meat and vegetables through curing and pickling. It aids in wound disinfection when medical supplies run out. It makes electrolyte solutions when combined with sugar and water. And it creates an environment where food can last months instead of days. I keep both fine salt for cooking and coarse salt for preserving, stored separately in airtight jars. Number 5. White granulated sugar. Sugar is pure sucrose, with no protein, no fat, and no free water. Bacteria can't eat it, mold can't grow on it, and oxygen has almost no effect on its structure. That makes sugar one of the longest-lasting foods in any pantry. The only thing that can mess with sugar is moisture. When sugar absorbs moisture, it clumps into hard blocks. But even then, it doesn't spoil. Dry it out or lightly heat it, and it returns to normal. The worst thing you can do is store sugar with oxygen absorbers. Sugar doesn't need protection from oxygen. In fact, the absorbers actually trap moisture, making the sugar harden faster. Also, never store sugar near strong-smelling spices like curry, garlic, or pepper. Sugar absorbs odors easily and loses its quality in cooking. Keep your sugar in a dry, sealed container away from humidity and strong smells. That's all it takes. During a crisis, sugar provides quick energy when food is scarce. It helps make oral rehydration solutions for dehydration. It preserves fruits into jams and syrups. And it can even be used to disinfect wounds when mixed with salt. A properly stored bag of sugar isn't just for baking. It's a multi-purpose survival tool that costs almost nothing,
and lasts forever.
Number 6. Distilled white vinegar. Most people think of vinegar as just a kitchen seasoning, but in long-term storage, white vinegar is a survival workhorse. It preserves food, sanitizes surfaces, washes produce, and replaces cleaning products when nothing else is available. Vinegar lasts indefinitely because of its strong acidity. The acetic acid creates an environment where bacteria can't survive. No bacteria means no spoilage. But you need the right kind. Distilled white vinegar is the only type that lasts indefinitely. Vinegars mixed with sugar, fruit flavorings, or artificial coloring can spoil over time because those additives provide nutrients for microorganisms. Stick with pure distilled white vinegar and you're set for life. Vinegar doesn't need refrigeration or vacuum sealing. Just store it in a cool place away from direct sunlight with the lid sealed tight. The only thing that can reduce vinegar's value is leaving the lid open too long, which allows the acid to evaporate and weakens the vinegar's preserving and disinfecting power. In an emergency, vinegar disinfects countertops and cutting boards. It washes fruits and vegetables when water quality is questionable. It helps preserve vegetables through pickling. And it neutralizes odors and reduces bacteria in your living space. A gallon of white vinegar can replace a dozen other products, and it never goes bad. Number 7. Baking soda. Baking soda is sodium bicarbonate, an inorganic compound that contains no water, doesn't feed bacteria, doesn't mold, and doesn't decompose like food. It only reacts when exposed to acid or heat. When dry, it sits motionless for decades. If stored properly, baking soda doesn't age, doesn't weaken, and doesn't deteriorate. It just waits until you need it. The problem is baking soda's odor-absorbing ability. If you store it near onions, garlic, laundry detergent, or dish soap, it will absorb those smells within weeks. Once that happens, you can't use it for food anymore. It's not spoiled, but it's contaminated with odors that will ruin anything you cook. To keep baking soda truly indefinite, store it sealed, dry, and separated. I keep one container for culinary use and one for cleaning, both stored in different places. During hard times, baking soda reduces stomach acid when medicine isn't available. It cleans fruits when water quality is questionable. It helps preserve vegetables through pickling, and it neutralizes odors and reduces bacteria in your living space. A gallon of baking soda is cheap, harmless, and lasts forever. But only if you store it correctly.
Number 8. Dry pasta. If white rice is basic survival, dry pasta is morale food. It's easy to cook, easy to eat, suitable for all ages, and incredibly versatile. Spaghetti, fusilli, penne, each shape makes meals feel varied even when ingredient options are running out. Pasta lasts decades, not because of preservatives, but because moisture has been removed. Once pasta is dried to a very low moisture level, bacteria and mold can't survive. No water, no habitat, no decomposition. The mistake people make is leaving pasta in the original cardboard packaging for years. Cardboard absorbs humidity, and pasta stored in humid places becomes brittle and loses its natural flavor. Also, never store pasta near strong-smelling spices. It will absorb those odors and you'll taste them in every dish you make. Transfer your pasta into airtight containers or heavy-duty storage bags. Keep it dry, avoid humidity, and protect it from light. That's it. In a crisis, pasta can transform based on whatever ingredients are left. With just salt, oil, or canned vegetables, you still get a satisfying meal. Add beans, canned meat, or a bit of hard cheese, and the nutritional value increases significantly without needing advanced cooking skills. Pasta isn't just fast food. It's food that preserves normalcy during abnormal times. It prevents meals from becoming repetitive and exhausting.
and it's one of the cheapest calories you can store. Number 9. Rolled oats. Oats don't require much water to cook, don't take much energy to prepare, and are rich in fiber, vitamins, and minerals. They're filling even during times of shortage. A container of oats can become porridge, bread, energy bars, or even replace a full meal when fresh food disappears. Rolled oats last decades because they're steamed, flattened, and dried to the point where bacteria, mold, and insects can't develop. They also don't contain as much natural oil as other whole grains, so they don't turn rancid over time. No moisture, low fat, extremely stable. That's why oats don't need preservatives yet still last for decades. But moisture is oats' worst enemy. Just a few damp flakes can cause mold to spread through the entire container. And mold in grains is unacceptable because fungal toxins can't be removed by cooking. Oats are only truly indefinite when kept sealed, dry, away from light, and not stored alongside strong-smelling foods. When options are limited, oats cooked with water and a little sugar or powdered milk still provide enough energy and nutrition to start an abnormal day in the most normal way. I keep several airtight containers of oats in my pantry, rotated regularly, and backup containers sealed for long-term storage. Number 10. Powdered milk. When fresh food becomes scarce, powdered milk acts like compressed nutrition. It provides protein, calcium, fat, vitamins, and minerals. Nutrients the body can't produce on its own, especially important for children, the elderly, and the sick. A single scoop of diluted powdered milk may not be a full meal, but it's enough to keep the body from weakening when other nutrition sources disappear. Powdered milk lasts decades because it's been completely dehydrated. With nearly zero moisture, bacteria can't survive, and the fats in milk are stabilized in dry form, preventing rapid oxidation like in fresh milk. When stored in a sealed bag or airtight container, powdered milk doesn't spoil, doesn't turn rancid. It only gradually loses aroma over time, but remains safe to consume. What ruins powdered milk is air. Once the container is opened and moisture enters, the powder clumps and can develop mold. At that point, it can't be saved even if cooked or roasted. Powdered milk is only indefinite when kept sealed, away from sunlight, and separated from strong-smelling foods. When everything becomes hard to buy, one container of powdered milk becomes breakfast for oats, nutrition for a child, energy for someone ill, and peace of mind for the whole family. I transfer mine into vacuum-sealed Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers for maximum shelf life.
Number 11. Canned meat. When the refrigerator has no power, when grocery stores are closed, or when fresh meat becomes a luxury, canned meat is the rare protein source that still survives and nourishes the body as if nothing happened. What allows canned meat to last for many years is not the meat itself, but the way it's processed. The meat is cooked at very high temperatures and sealed in a completely airtight environment without oxygen. Bacteria can't survive the heat, and without oxygen, mold and microorganisms can't grow. People misunderstand expiration dates on cans. The date on the label describes when the meat is at its best quality, not when it spoils. Canned meat can remain safe for years afterward as long as the can is intact, not swollen, not rusted, and not deeply dented. The problem isn't the food, it's the packaging. When the can is damaged, air and bacteria can enter, and that's when the food becomes dangerous. Store your canned meat in a cool, dry place. Rotate it occasionally, using older cans first and replacing them with new ones. Check for rust, dents, and swelling regularly. If a can looks compromised, don't risk it. In a crisis, canned meat provides protein, fat, and energy. It keeps you from panicking. With just a can opener and without complicated cooking, you already have a meal strong enough to keep going. Number 12. Freeze-dried fruits and vegetables. Freeze-dried produce is one of the most underrated long-term storage options out there. The freeze-drying process removes up to 99% of moisture, which means bacteria,
mold, and enzymes that cause spoilage have no environment to survive. When stored in airtight containers with oxygen absorbers, freeze-dried fruits and vegetables can last 25 years or more, while retaining most of their original nutrition, flavor, and color. The advantage over dehydrated food is that freeze-dried food rehydrates faster and tastes closer to fresh. A handful of freeze-dried strawberries can be eaten as a crunchy snack or rehydrated in minutes for oatmeal, smoothies, or baking. Freeze-dried vegetables can be added to soups, stews, casseroles, or eaten as is for a quick nutrient boost. The key is proper storage. Once you open a package of freeze-dried food, it starts absorbing moisture from the air. Use what you need, then reseal it immediately in an airtight container or vacuum-sealed bag. Store it in a cool, dark place away from humidity. If you live in a humid climate, consider keeping open freeze-dried food in the fridge or freezer to extend its life. Freeze-dried food is more expensive up front than dried beans or rice, but the convenience, nutrition, and shelf life make it worth having in your stockpile. I keep a variety of freeze-dried fruits and vegetables for situations where fresh produce isn't available, but I still want balanced nutrition.
Number 13, instant coffee. Now, I know not everyone drinks coffee, but for those who do, instant coffee is a morale booster that can last up to 20 years when stored correctly. Unlike ground coffee, which loses flavor within weeks, instant coffee has been freeze-dried or spray-dried to remove all moisture. With almost no water content, it's nearly impossible for bacteria or mold to grow. An unopened, sealed container of instant coffee can last 1 to 20 years depending on storage conditions. Even after opening, it stays good for at least several months to a few years if kept in an airtight container away from heat, light, and moisture. The key is keeping it dry. Don't store instant coffee in the fridge or freezer. The humidity will ruin it. And don't leave the container open near the stove or in direct sunlight. In an emergency, instant coffee provides more than caffeine. It lifts spirits, creates routine, and gives you a sense of normalcy when everything else feels chaotic. It's also lightweight, easy to prepare, and takes up very little storage space. I keep a few jars of instant coffee sealed in Mylar bags for long-term storage, and one jar open for regular use. So there you have it, 13 foods that never expire when stored properly. These aren't just pantry staples. They're the foundation of real food security, the kind that lets you sleep at night, knowing your family will be okay no matter what happens. The thing is, none of this matters if you don't actually do it. I've talked to so many people over the years who know they should be preparing, but keep putting it off. They think they'll get to it later, but later turns into next month, next year, and then something happens and they're caught unprepared. Don't be that person. Start small. Pick 3 foods from this list. Buy a little extra next time you're at the store. Transfer them into proper storage containers. Put them somewhere cool and dry. Then add 3 more. Then 3 more. Before you know it, you've got a solid foundation that can carry your family through tough times without panic, without dependence, just quiet confidence. And if you haven't grabbed that free guide yet, go do it now. The link is in the description and pinned in the comments. It's called How to Turn $50 into a 90-Day Food Supply. It's free, it's practical, and it's designed for regular people with tight budgets and limited space. Let me send it to you. All you have to do is click the link and tell me where to send it. If you found this helpful, hit the like button, drop a comment letting me know which of these 13 foods you're stockpiling first, and subscribe so you don't miss the next video. I put out content every week on preparedness, food storage, self-reliance, and living with quiet confidence in an uncertain world. Stay calm, stay steady, and remember, the best time to prepare was yesterday. The second best time is today. I'll see you in the next one.